What if one of the most overlooked small cap companies in the entire market today is quietly building the future of distributed power generation? This stock has been a sore spot in my portfolio, and truthfully, I had no interest in talking about this one. This isn't a Meta, a Google, or an Amazon, but what is quietly being discussed and created with this company may be directly linked to the big dog's AI buildout. Today, we're talking about Hyliion Holdings Corp, ticker symbol HYLN, a company that many investors completely wrote off after the EV hype cycle collapsed, but that now may be reinventing itself into something far more interesting. And after its recent Q1 2026 earnings report, bulls are starting to ask a serious question. Is Hyliion becoming one of the most asymmetric, speculative growth plays in the market? This is not a safe blue chip stock. This is not a proven cash flow machine. This is a highly speculative company with major risks. But sometimes the biggest winners come from companies that survive long enough to pivot into the right opportunity at the exact correct time. And Hyliion may be attempting exactly that with its KARNO generator platform. So in this video, we're going to break down the recent Q1 2026 earnings report, what the company actually does now, the bullish and bearish arguments, why investors are suddenly paying attention again, and whether Hyliion could become a legitimate long-term growth story. Hey there, my name is Anthony, and welcome to Growing Your Wealth. You ready? Let's dive in. First, it's important to understand something. Hyliion is no longer really an EV trucking company. Years ago, the company became famous during the SPAC boom for electric and hybrid truck powertrains. But after struggling to commercialize those products, management shifted their direction. Now, the company's primary focus is the KARNO power module. It's a fuel-flexible linear generator system originally acquired from GE Technology. The idea behind KARNO is extremely ambitious. Hyliion wants to build a modular power generator that can run on multiple fuels, including natural gas, hydrogen, propane, ammonia, biogas, and even diesel. The company claims the system can provide cleaner, quieter, and more efficient electricity generation than traditional combustion generators. And here's why investors are suddenly interested. The AI boom has created massive demand for electricity. Data centers need enormous amounts of power to operate. The electric grid is struggling to keep up, and companies are now searching for modular on-site power solutions that can scale quickly.
Hyliion is trying to tackle one of the biggest constraints in the economy right now, power. The company's building generators designed to deliver reliable electricity where it's needed most, including for the U.S. Navy. Joining me now is the CEO of Hyliion, Thomas Healy. Thomas, it is great to see you. Maybe start here, Thomas. Just bring us up to speed about what you are all doing now, the mission, because I know there's been a pivot. It sounds like, Thomas, what you're doing now is kind of making modular generators, right? Sort of these almost small portable power plants. Am I describing it correctly?
You're spot on. The last time we were on Yahoo Finance, we were actually a company building electric semi-trucks. And some of your viewers might remember us from that day. We have transitioned the company. As many of you probably know, the EV space has seen a big downturn. So we decided, why don't we get out of that area, go into power gen. We've invented this very unique new modular platform that's designed to produce electrons, kind of be your personal power plant that can power AI data centers. It can power Navy ships, as we're here to talk about today, or commercial buildings like a Walmart or a Home Depot.
That is the opportunity Hyliion is trying to capture. Now let's talk about the actual earnings report. At first glance, this was still a money-losing quarter. Hyliion reported revenue of approximately $2.8 million. That's ugly. Net loss of about $11.6 million. That's uglier. And EPS loss of around 7 cents per share. That's the ugliest. Well, not really. I was just continuing with the theme, and it's ugly. It is ugly. Cash and investments were mentioned at around roughly $139 million. Okay, so I can deal with this one if the burn rate isn't substantial. We shall see. Now, if you only look at the bottom line, skeptics will say another unprofitable small cap burning cash. But growth investors are looking deeper than that because several important things happened during this quarter. One of the most bullish developments was revenue growth. Revenue jumped fourfold sequentially from Q4 2025 to Q1 2026. For a company this small, that matters, especially because the growth was tied to real contracts and engineering progress, not just hype. Most of this revenue came from military-related research and development contracts with the U.S. Office of Naval Research. That's important because government contracts can do many things, especially validate technology or help fund development. They also can reduce financing pressure and attract future commercial customers. Hyliion also reaffirmed full year 2026 revenue guidance of roughly $10 million. Now, for a mature company, that's tiny, but for a speculative pre-commercial company, investors care more about trajectory than current size. And right now, the trajectory appears to be improving. This is where the real speculation begins. Management says they are on track to commercialize the 200 kilowatt KARNO power module by the end of 2026. That's the key. Not prototypes, not concept art, actual commercialization. The company also completed an important UL certification milestone this quarter. Why does that matter? Because certifications are often one of the major hurdles preventing new energy technologies from entering the market. Without certification, customers hesitate. Without certification, deployment becomes realistic. Hyliion also demonstrated live fuel switching between diesel, natural gas, and hydrogen on the same KARNO reactor. That flexibility could become a major competitive advantage if fuel markets remain volatile over the next decade. And I'll even speculate further. I read somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it. Maybe it was an article on Yahoo Finance. In the article, it mentioned that Hyliion had 800 non-binding LOIs that would total over $400 million in revenue if they were able to complete these orders today. Now, when I listened to the earnings call, an analyst asked that question and Thomas Healy replied with it was 750. And I don't care about the discrepancy. That's not why I'm mentioning it. The thing that caught my attention was that if you run the math on the 200 kilowatt generator, it comes out to approximately $530,000 per unit. Of course, this is a rough estimate, but that is real revenue that companies are willing to spend to use this equipment. Not to mention the 2 megawatt generator they're working on to produce as we speak. He also didn't want to comment on any speculation, as he stated it would basically be foolish to put the cart before the horse, and I respect that. I just want them to provide a product to service clients, so whatever it takes to reach commercialization, I'm for. Also, this company is under $1 billion in market cap, so the mention of $400 million in revenue is sweet sounds to my ears. Just rub those, it's money. Well, it's not everything, but it's money coming into a business. This may be the most important part of the entire story. During the quarter, Hyliion announced a strategic partnership with VFG Holdings, focused on deploying KARNO systems for next-generation data centers. The agreement includes potential deployment opportunities totaling up to 250 KARNO cores over the next 5 years. Now let's be clear, this is not guaranteed revenue. It's a non-binding LOI, and speculative investors need to understand that. But the reason bulls are excited is because AI infrastructure spending is exploding right now. Every major tech company is scrambling for power capacity. If Hyliion can provide scalable, modular power systems that are cleaner and more fuel flexible than the conventional generators, there could be real market opportunity here. And because the company's current valuation is still relatively small, even moderate commercial success would dramatically change the financial picture. That's why speculative investors are watching closely. Another bullish catalyst is the military relationship. Hyliion is currently building an 800 kilowatt KARNO system for an unmanned U.S. Navy vessel, and management reaffirmed expectations for an additional $40 to $50 million in military contract signings during 2026. That's a huge number relative to the company's current revenue base. Military validation also gives credibility. defense agencies care deeply about reliability, fuel flexibility, low thermal signatures, modular deployment, and energy resilience. If KARNO proves itself in military environments, commercial adoption becomes easier to market. So, let's summarize the bullish thesis. Bull case number one, there is a massive total addressable market and power demand is surging because of AI data centers, EV charging, grid instability, and industrial electrification. Hyliion is targeting distributed power generation, basically a market that could become enormous over the next decade. Bull case number two, we have fuel flexibility. The KARNO system is not tied to one fuel source. That matters because the future energy market is uncertain. Natural gas may dominate near term, hydrogen may grow later. Biogas and ammonia could become niche solutions. Hyliion is trying to create a platform adaptable to all of them.
These modular generators, Thomas, what are they running on? Is it diesel? Is it natural gas? What is it?
So this is what makes our system so unique is it's truly fuel agnostic. So the same technology can run on natural gas if you put it at a data center. It can also run on diesel fuel for standby or backup power, or for applications like the military, you can run on JP8. Most of these ships are diesel powered. So that's one of the unique things is it's tough to tell what the fuel source of the future is going to be. There's been a lot of talk about hydrogen, ammonia, but the reality is nat gas, diesel, it's here today, and we can run on any of those fuels.
And finally, bull case number four, there is a potential for a short squeeze and momentum run. Small cap speculative names can move violently when sentiment changes. After earnings, investors reacted positively because revenue beat expectations and commercialization progress appeared real. If future quarters continue showing progress, momentum traders could pile in quickly. Now, let's talk about the risks because there's a lot, there's many. And if you invest in Hyliion, you must understand them. Bear case number one, and this is extremely important, the company is still losing money. Hyliion lost nearly $12 million this quarter. Revenue remains extremely small, and this is still largely a pre-commercial business. There is no guarantee that KARNO achieves widespread adoption, okay? Bear case number two, we have commercialization risks. Lots of companies build promising prototypes, far fewer achieve scalable manufacturing and profitable deployment. Engineering risks, well, they remain high. Execution risks, well, they remain high. And scaling hardware businesses, it's just notoriously difficult, okay? Bear case number three, we have the dilution risk. And I hate talking about this, but we have to discuss it. Management itself acknowledged that additional capital may eventually be required to support production expansion. That means future share dilution is possible. For speculative investors, dilution can crush returns if growth does not materialize quickly enough. Bear case number four, you always have competition. Hyliion is entering an extremely competitive energy market. They are competing indirectly against traditional generators, fuel cell companies, battery storage firms, large industrial energy providers, and potentially massive incumbents. Just because a technology is innovative does not mean it wins commercially. And finally, we have bear case number five, which is dependence on key suppliers. The company also disclosed supplier concentration risks in its filing. That means manufacturing bottlenecks or supplier issues could materially hurt deployment timelines. Small companies have far less leverage with suppliers than industrial giants. So here is the reality. Hyliion, it's not a value stock. It's not a safe retirement investment. This is a speculative asymmetric bet. The market is essentially asking one question: can the KARNO platform become commercially viable before cash burn becomes a major issue? If the answer is no, well, the stock could struggle badly. But if the answer is yes, and if data center demand accelerates the way bulls expect, then Hyliion could eventually look dramatically different than it does today. And that's why speculative investors are paying attention. Since we are speaking on power generation, there is an absolutely amazing biblical verse that I marvel at every time I read it. It shows the power of who God is in his glory. In the book of Psalms 97, 1-6, it says, The Lord reigns, let the earth be glad. Let the distant shores rejoice. Cloud and thick darkness surround him. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. Fire goes before him and consumes his foes on every side. His lightning lights up the world. The earth sees and trembles. The mountains melt like wax before the Lord. Before the Lord of all the earth, the heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all people will see his glory. As we can see the beauty and power of who God is as portrayed in this verse, truly read into what Thomas Healy and his team over at Hyliion are trying to do. Don't just believe with blinders on. Test them to see if their power solution can stand out and become an energy source to many parts of the world in the future. Okay, so here's my conclusion on Hyliion after the Q1 2026 earnings report. Okay, the company is still highly speculative. There are major risks. The commercialization is not guaranteed and profitability remains far away. But for the first time in a while, the story appears to have real momentum behind it. Revenue is accelerating, military contracts are growing, data center partnerships are emerging, cash reserves remain solid, and the KARNO platform is moving closer toward actual commercialization. This is exactly the kind of stock that could either become a massive future winner or fail to execute entirely. That's the reality of speculative growth investing. But after this quarter, bulls finally feel like Hyliion has a believable path forward again. And honestly, that may be the most important development of all. I don't want to speculate on price action or where this stock could go. It's anybody's guess. It's been to the $40 range, and it's even kissed 50 cents. Hello. All right, that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Hyliion and KARNO are the real future of distributed power generation, or is this just another speculative hype story? If you're curious to hear my thoughts on Shopify after the recent earnings, bam, click right here. Go ahead and click it, tap it, slam it, whatever you gotta do. As always, happy investing, and may God truly bless each and every one of you.